What's going on? Y'all good? Are we doing fine? That music too loud? Probably. Hi. What are you doing in my room? That's so weird. Don't look at my pile of junk on the floor. That's not for you. Don't look at that. Avert your eyes from that. You're not allowed to look at that. Stop. Look at all the nice stuff that's going on in the background. Don't look at the filth. Oh, you're here because of the Jacksepticeye How to Get Here live show comedy world tour documentary. I see. Do you have 90 minutes? Because soon it's going to be happening. The tour documentary is coming out in an hour, and I am here to convince you. I'm here with a trade offer. I give you closer, deeper, more intimate look at my life and what it is to be a YouTuber and Jacksepticeye in general. And you give me you watching the documentary. I didn't think this one through. I give you entertainment. You give me click in description. Go buy ticket. Okay? The first screening's happening in an hour. We have 4 screenings that are going to be happening over the next day. We try to hit as many time zones as we can with it. So if you couldn't make it, hopefully there's one in there for you. But the very first premiere of the tour documentary is happening in like 56 minutes. So if you click the description, you can still go get tickets for it. You'll be able to watch the documentary up to 3 hours after that initial premiere. So if you buy a ticket to the European one, you can watch it in an hour, or you can watch it up to 3 hours after that. So if you want to make it, there's plenty of ways, or plenty of time for you to be able to watch it. The documentary itself is about an hour and a half long, of course. It's not exactly 90 minutes. Look, I know a lot of people are going to say that, oh, it's such a shame you didn't actually get it to 90 minutes. It's 7 minutes short of that. It didn't feel right. I wanted to make it 90 minutes. I was going to go full meme. I was going to say, make it 90 minutes. Lean into the meme. But trying to find 7 minutes of footage just to pad it out just didn't feel right. It didn't fit the message, you know? This is a high-end, artistic movie that we have made. Put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. My actual tears are in this. If you want to see my tears, get a ticket. But I'm here to try and convince you in the last hour to go watch it. I'm really, really excited about it. I think it's something that's been a long time coming. It's been like 4 years since the actual tour ended and we had all the documentary footage. I know it's taken a really long time, but I'm here to convince you that it's worth the wait. If anything, it's a really weird look back because in this tour, in the documentary itself, I'm 28 years old. I'm 32 now. I have transcended into my 30s over the period of time that this has happened. We've had a global pandemic in the middle of this. You're gonna watch this documentary and you're gonna be like, oh my God, there's so many people together watching this. There's not a mask in sight. It was in the before times, in the long, long ago, before any of that was even necessary. It's a look back at a gentler, simpler time in life. If you wanted to know what it was like to go to a venue, to go to a concert, to go to any sort of show without having to stuff stuff up your nose and test endlessly, this is a great look at it. You might even see yourself in it. If you came to the tour, you might actually be in this documentary. There might be a clip of you in it. Obviously not every single show is in it, and not every single crowd shot from every single venue we went to is going to be in it. But there are some fans in this that I think is going to be really fun to see. I don't even know if they still watch my videos, but I think it's going to be really fun to see if those people who are in the documentary who actually have words in it are going to be reacting to it. I'm really excited. I want to see people's reactions when it's out as well, like on Twitter and stuff. And I tweeted out earlier to use hashtag HDGWH. It's very confusing, but it's just how did we get here? Because I want to click through it and it's going to be hard. I'm going to be in the first screening with everybody. I'm going to be in the chat watching everybody's reactions. So if you want to watch the documentary with me, the one that's happening in an hour is the one to be at, because I'm going to be there. I want to try and make some of the other ones as well, but they're at trickier time zones for me. So I want to be there. I want to see people's reactions. I want to actually be in the thick of it with everybody as the story unfolds. If you want to know what the documentary actually is about, I keep saying it's a documentary, but it's kind of more than that, because it initially started off as a way of showing kind of behind the scenes of the of the tour itself. And I wanted footage just to see what it was like, and it was cool to be able to watch back the shows and be like, okay, I'm a bit stiff there and I can improve on this, and that joke doesn't really land. And then as things progressed and as we started getting into it, we came up with some really great ideas for it and came up with a good story for it. So it's like a proper story to go through for this. It's not only all about me, and if you're a big fan of the Jacksepticeye channel, you get to know more about me, because we went back to Ireland. I did the last show of the tour there. We went back to my home. I went back to the house that I lived in as a kid. It's now a veterinary clinic. So we actually get to go in and look around that, so you get to get a piece of that. I show you a tree that I climbed when I was a kid. My family are in it. They got interviewed for it as well. There's a bunch of stuff for big Jacksepticeye fans in there. But also, if you absolutely hate me, or you don't think about Jacksepticeye at all, or anything like that, I think it's a really good film about what it is to be like a YouTuber as well, and see that trajectory and see that path and see how people get to where they are and what it takes to become a YouTuber. And my whole idea behind the tour and my whole idea behind the documentary is to peel that layer away, to kind of get rid of the facade. You know, when you see some people and you think, wow, I'll never be able to do that. Or how are they able to do that? I'll never accomplish anything like that. I wanted to pull that away and to show you that it's absolutely accomplishable, that anybody can do it. It's just a case of seeing where somebody came from and being like, oh, it's actually not that special. Like, where I came from is not special. Where I grew up is not special. What I did is not special. My life hasn't been anything too special until YouTube happened. So it's a way of showing that in a more honest, sort of transparent way, and get sort of a look into what it is to be that. So I think there's more for people than just Jacksepticeye fans, which, let's face it, if you're here watching the stream right now, you're probably a Jacksepticeye fan. Why else would you be here? But I think I'm really, really proud of what we have, and that's why I think it's worth like still hyping it up and everything, even after so much time has passed, because I'm so excited for everyone to actually finally see what we were up to. Not only because you get to see what it was like to be on tour as well a little bit. If you weren't at any of the shows, you get to see what the show actually looked like. The entire show isn't in it, but the majority of it is. Most of the jokes that I told up on stage are all still in the documentary. So if you wanted to see what the actual show was like and the tour was like, if you weren't there at any of them, you'll be able to watch it in this documentary as well. So go! There's a link in the description. You'll be able to get tickets. There's a bunch of different time zones to do. You don't have to go anywhere. You just buy the ticket, you get in, then when the showing is about to happen, you click that link and you go watch it with everybody else. It's like a live stream premiere. It's like a red carpet event for the COVID era. It's like a red carpet event for people who don't really go outside much anymore. Basically anybody who watches YouTube anyway. But if you have any questions about it, if you want to know anything about the documentary, then please let me know. Also, don't forget to spread it around on social media as well with the hashtag. Can I see your cat? I'm sorry, he's eating right now. He's busy. He's got better things to be doing. But yeah, thanks for showing up. Go buy tickets. That's why I'm here. I'm kind of bad at promoting the things that I'm in and the things that I'm doing, and I have a very hard time hyping myself up for the things that I'm in, because I'm like, I think it's pretty cool. You guys can go watch if you want. But not only will you be able to go watch it all at the same time, but you'll all be able to interact with each other as well. There's like a chat box, so you can all hang out, kind of like this. How do we watch it? You click the link in the description. Then you go get a ticket, and then when it comes time to the time zone that you have picked, whichever one matches your location best, you click that, you will get a way of seeing it through your email, I believe, when the time actually comes. You'll get a link to be able to go watch. There's people on the website right now hanging out on the Moment House website. People are saying stuff like, BB, Sean is live on YouTube. Who is ready? We need the cat. That's cool. I'm so glad that people are enjoying it and people are hyped about it. So many people have bought tickets already, and that makes me very proud and very appreciative. Thank you so much. Will there be more screenings later or just a premiere? I'm going to try my best to get it out on VOD as soon as I can. We are planning a physical release at some point as well, and I'll try my best to like speed that process along and get it out really quickly. It's just, it won't be the same because it won't be like the premiere, and it won't be there with everybody else, and you won't be able to chat with people as it's happening, and I won't be able to be there at the same time. So that's why these premieres are extra special. Can you watch it again after the live stream? Yeah, you should be able to watch it up to 3 hours afterwards. And then whenever it releases physically and stuff like that. Just came back from buying snacks to eat while watching. Hell yeah. What y'all got? Is Ryan Reynolds in it? I wish. Actually, he is. But it's like a clip from the video I did with him. But technically, Ryan Reynolds is in my documentary. You've already seen the video, but I can firmly say that he's in it. As long as he doesn't get... He's not on the cast list, let's put it that way. Do you prefer Elden Ring to Bloodborne? Nah, I still think Bloodborne is better. I think that the pace of Bloodborne is just phenomenal, and I love that game. There you go. Thanks, Camilla. There's links in chat. Hope all is well with you and your life. It is. Elden Ring came out. I've been very happy about it. We did have a cloak collection with them as well, which is absolutely crazy. It's not often that you're awaiting what could potentially be your new favorite game of all time, but it exceeds expectations, and you get to do a collab with them. Isn't that so dope? But yes, I have finished Elden Ring, and it's absolutely incredible. It's not as easy as the media seems to be saying it is. Everyone keeps talking about how accessible it is and how approachable it is and how many options you have to play now, but the game is still balls to the wall hard. It's their hardest game, easily. And so many people are getting into it thinking, oh, it'll be, if it's the easier game, then I'll play it. It's easier if you're playing with friends, obviously, but that's always been the case. How long is the documentary? 1 hour and 23 minutes. Will there be a DVD? Yes, I'm working as hard as I can on it to get it out. Because I like having a physical thing as well. I want like a physical thing for my shelf and to commemorate it. As much as we live in a digital world, I still like collecting physical things. Are you psyched for the premiere? I'm so nervous. Oh, I'm like as nervous as I was when I was doing the shows, because it's something that's been a long time coming. People have high expectations for it. I think it's really good. I showed it to friends like Felix, Marty, PJ, and Sophie here in person a couple of weeks ago. They really liked it. A couple of friends got together in LA to watch it all together. They really liked it. People who have seen it so far said that they really like it. So I hope you guys like it just as much as everybody else does. I think it's great. It came out so much better than I could ever have hoped. And I'm glad that we spent the time to like really make sure that it was good. Will you stream here? No. You can't just stream it here. What did you eat for lunch? That's not a documentary question. I will only be taking tour and documentary questions from now on. Maybe an Elden Ring. Or Horizon. I tried Horizon. I got so bored. I didn't really like the first Horizon that much, and the second one is just more of the same. What time is the premiere? It's happening in 43 minutes. The first one. There's multiple premieres happening all across the world. We have one for Europe and Africa time zones, trying to collaborate as much as we can into that, or collate them as much as we can. Then we have West and East Coast America, I believe, and then a sort of Oceania time zone as well. It's all kind of based on the regions that watch my videos the most. What did I eat for lunch during tour? I ate a lot of things. I actually had I think the best food I had was in New Orleans. That food was tasty, which you'll also get to see in the documentary. There's a very funny clip of us actually having there and me saying, "Good food," exactly like that. It was so delicious. We ate a lot of different types of food in a lot of different types of places, in a lot of different places in the world, and New Orleans was the place that kind of stood out to me the most for its food. It was fucking delicious. How long will I be live here? I will be live right up until the premiere happens to try and convince you to go get a ticket. What was your favorite location to visit on tour? I had a bunch of different ones for different reasons. Like some places were nice because we had a fun kind of tour family moment. I think it was Denver where we went bowling, which there's a clip of in the documentary as well. And that was just a really nice unwind day where we all bonded very heavily and we got to walk around there. I didn't see much of the places when I was there, but that was nice. But I think my favorite place was Paris because I had never been. My brother lives there and I always wanted to visit Paris and I just never took the time to do it. And then we had an extra day off the day before the show, so I got to walk around with my brother and he gave us like a private tour of all his favorite spots. Sadly, the Louvre was closed, so I couldn't go there. So sometime in the future, I want to go there again. But I finally got to see the Eiffel Tower. We got to go into Notre Dame before the accident happened. There's footage of Notre Dame, like pre-fire in the documentary. And I'm proud of that. The fact that we were like able to showcase it and kind of memorialize it a little bit. And I'm so glad I got to see it before that happened. Can you tell one of the jokes you made on tour? Oh man, there's a lot of them. They're a little too long to tell now because they're more of a long format, but there's jokes about like being a kid, being in Clon, the town I grew up in, and there's a joke about like pitchforks on fire. There's stuff about Pokemon Blue in it. There's jokes about being a teenager and how I got my name and the eye scar. There's jokes about becoming a YouTuber and what it was like to like be built up so high and then the sort of Irish humility kicking in where it's like, you're not as great as you think you are, buddy, which is such an Irish thing to happen. And I'm very proud of the comedy that's on the tour. That it's so funny watching it now. I'm like, oh, I'd be able to perform that so much better. Just, hey, thanks for coming out, guys. Thank you. Thank you. No, thank you. Thank you. You know, stuff like that. Just more confidence. I think I'd be able to perform it a lot better now. But yeah, there's a lot of stories in it that I haven't told before. It's not just like if you're a fan of the channel and you're just hearing the same stories again. There's a lot of stuff in it that people have never heard before or haven't known about me before. It's such a fast chat. Yeah, it happens. Welcome to YouTube chat. So that's where my humility comes from. I'm part Irish, probably. It's a very European sensibility to not build yourself up too much. Especially in UK and Ireland. There's a dry sarcasm where it's like, you may be big numbers, but you'll never be able to lay a brick wall the way I can. You know, it's very much about leveling the playing field, which I really like. Bought tickets for the NA East, so excited. Hell yeah, thank you. You're breathtaking. Well, you said you're breathtaking. But I'll take it. Thank you. What is the most emotional moments you had when making said documentary? There's, I think the middle section where I go back to the log cabins is very emotional because it's going back to where everything started, but it's also revisiting the like saddest time in my life was when I lived there. And also there's like a tiny section of my dad in it. And watching it back now, that whole section just has completely different meaning to me, and it just hits a lot harder, I think. But I'm so glad that we have something of my dad in there to remember him by, to kind of like share a little bit of him with the rest of the world, you know. Are you watching it with all of us here or just a pre-show thing? No, I'll do pre-show here, like get hyped with everybody here, and then when it actually happens, I'll move over to the chat on the actual live stream, on the actual like premiere. So I won't be like on video, but well, I will. I'll be on the entire documentary. Got a ticket, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Will I be posting a vid during your show? No. My entire life for the last 2 weeks has revolved around this documentary and Elden Ring. So I want to make sure that the documentary comes out well. And I did a bunch of like press interviews leading up to it. I talked to a bunch of people that interviewed me for the documentary. That was kind of all I've been doing for the last week. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was running well. And it's a big thing, and there's a lot of nerves in it. There's a lot of anxiety to releasing and anticipation in a good way to releasing something like this. So it gets kind of like, it gets like a good stressful, if you know what I mean? Because there's a lot, like, I have to do a lot of promotion for it and a lot of talking about it, and I want to make sure that it goes well. How long is the documentary? About an hour and a half. Is it Bo Burnham inspired? The tour itself is heavily Bo Burnham inspired. I said before that I wanted to go on tour anyway because a bunch of people were going on tour around that time, and specifically Game Grumps were doing their live shows back then, and a bunch of other YouTubers were going on tour around then, and I was like, I want to go on tour eventually, and I kind of hummed and hawed about it for a while, and then I watched Make Happy, Bo Burnham's comedy special on Netflix, and I was like, wow, yeah, I want to do something like that. I knew I wanted to do comedy. I wanted to try that because I've just always been obsessed with like the one man, one mic kind of stand-up comedy routine since I was a kid. And I was like, I wonder if I'll ever be able to do one of those. And then I did. And it was actually decent, I'm proud to say. But I wanted to make a show that had a message behind it. Because it's totally fine if you get up and you want to just entertain for an hour and a half and give people a smile and something to giggle over and to kind of hang out with each other. And that's totally cool. And I think we did that as well, but I wanted to give something more than that. I wanted so that when people left the tour that they talked about it more. Like they left the tour and they actually had like a message to take away from it. They ruminated on it a little bit. They weren't just like, oh, that was fun, moving on. And from what I saw after each show, that was the case. And I'm very, very proud of that. That I did what I set out to do. Could I have done it better? Probably. But I also could have done it a lot worse, and I did my best at the time. And I was going through a lot of emotional changes during that time in my life as well. So there's a lot of stuff in the documentary where it kind of feels like I'm looking back at a different person at this point. I pretty much am. There was a lot of like different stuff happening in my life over the course of that. It was like a year that I was doing the tour over. And now it's 4 years later, and I'm just completely different. I'm far less anxious. I'm less miserable. I'm less self-conscious. I'm less insecure. I'm more confident. But that's why it's a fun documentary to watch, because it's like looking at life in like a bubble. Like this one period of my life where everything was happening. It was during the era of PMA as well, back in 2018, when that was a big thing. I had just come out of one of the worst years of my life, and then 2018 was when I was like turning things around again. So there's a lot of people like chanting PMA in the audiences during it. Also, the Septic Lights made, hey Tay, what's up? Appreciate you showing up, thanks man. The Septic Lights made a kind of cameo in it as well. Well, it was kind of hard not to. Any of the crowd shots were all Septic Lights inspired, which was a fan initiative people did where they got together and cut out little green septic eyes and had instructions on it, and then they would put them on their phones and hold them up to the camera, or hold them up as I came out, so everybody's camera in the audience was green when I came out on stage. And you'll get to see that in the documentary as well. It was so cool. It's hard to encapsulate how awesome it was to actually do the live shows when you're watching it back on video, because the sheer energy that was in each of those venues of people cheering and the decibel level of it coming out, it genuinely made me worse at making YouTube videos when I came back, because when I did the tour, it was so electric. Every joke that I was saying was landing, and I would just keep going in on a joke until I got a laugh out of people. And actually working your comedy in a room full of people is so addicting to me, and it was so fun to do. And then when I got back and I would record videos, it's like, man, it's not the same. I just talk to a camera now. And I tried so hard to kind of emulate that energy because I think I'm better live than I am in my videos. Not live like here doing a live stream. I think I'm better on stage than I am in my videos. And I think that that's why there was a lot of talk a couple of years ago for me where I was like, should I quit? I don't know. Obviously now I've leveled out again, but it was definitely something that I was like, oh man, doing a live show is so much cooler. It's so cool to actually be with people and see them face to face and actually interact with them live. And hopefully we'll go on tour eventually again. I have to craft a new show. I won't ever do the How Did We Get Here show again, but I'll do something else maybe. Will you be hanging out in chat for all the premieres or just this one after the stream? Definitely the one after the stream, and I'll try my best to make some of the other ones. They're just happening at slightly more awkward times for me personally, but that's why the time zones are there. If we just did it all now, then I think it would have been a lot harder for people to watch. Is Robin in the documentary? Yep. You sure are. Robin also going through massive life changes since the documentary. It's great. It's so fun to look back and then see that, like, going through the tour, I didn't really appreciate the places I was in as much as I could have. Because again, I was going through so much. It was also the first time that I took time away from YouTube was to do the tour. I would like take 2 weeks off, and I'd never taken time off on YouTube before. So I spent a lot of the tours kind of thinking, oh man, I should be making videos, and I felt guilty, and I was trying to make vlogs, and I wasn't appreciating what I had when I had it. So looking back on it now, it's good to see that a lot of what was happening in it got better. Except for the pandemic, of course. It got so much better after that. Windows wants to install something right now. So if the stream goes down randomly, it's because my computer decided to install an update. But hopefully that won't happen. So now is my time to say, go, get a ticket. Get a ticket right now. Click the link in the description. Get one. Pick your time zone. Will I be doing videos on Elden Ring? No. I know a lot of people are asking me for it, but that was a game just for me. And it took me 70 hours to get through it. Even at 2-hour episodes, which is like the limit of what I want to do, that's still way too many episodes for a Let's Play for me. I don't want to be doing a game daily for a month. I say as I did Minecraft daily for a month, but that was a different time, man. Did anyone travel with you on tour? You get to meet everybody who was on the tour bus with me. I got to, like, so many people that I'm so close friends with now, I met when I was on that tour. Like just the crew who were helping behind the scenes. And Justin, my main man, who was... If you went to the tour and you met Justin, he was the guy doing merch at the time. He has become absolutely one of my best friends. And we text each other so often, and he feels like a brother to me now. And I'm so happy that I got to meet him during that tour. Got a ticket, can't wait. Thank you, appreciate that. Minecraft is just built different. It really is. Did I visit Australia? I didn't. There was a lot of talk about maybe going down to Australia to do it, and then we kind of waited a bit too long to make a decision, and then things kind of just progressed and moved on. And it was a bit more poetic to end the tour in Ireland. I didn't really want to go out and do it again, all over again in Australia. And then it's like, well, I wanted the Ireland show to be like extra special. Hey Leon, what's going on, man? Is the documentary any different from the IRL show? Well, the show itself is only a very small part of the documentary. It's like a third of it. You get to see some of the jokes, but it's more giving context to the jokes that were there by going to the places that the jokes are about. Like I have a joke about being an altar boy in church. So we went to the actual church where I grew up. I have a joke about growing up in Clohan and my home and the roundabout there. So we actually go to check it out in real life. So it's kind of like a third about the tour, a third about me growing up and just about me in general, and then another third about what it is to kind of be a YouTuber and navigating this space. Do I plan on doing more tours in the future? Sure, but just not right now. I have a ton of other stuff that I want to do first. I got the after party, what do I do? If you got the after party ticket, there's a special video after the actual documentary talking about it as well and giving a bit more context and a bit more behind the scenes and things like that. Will I ever come to the Netherlands? I've been there twice. I did my tour there and I did the Ready Player 3 tour with the Game Grumps when I was there. Is Pewds in the documentary? No. He was supposed to come to the London show, but he couldn't make it the day that we were in town, which is understandable. Getting from Brighton to London and then navigating London and everything is just a pain in the ass. But also he was busy. But he got to see it. There was mention of him in the actual show, because it's kind of hard to talk about my journey through YouTube without talking about PewDiePie and the shout out that happened. But that part is like trimmed down in the documentary. So that joke, well, it's not even a joke, it's just a mention. The documentary is more about the jokes that were said rather than like the in-between bits. You deserve your own show? I'm pretty sure that having my own channel and uploading daily or semi-daily is technically my own show. It's better than having my own show. What are you nervous about? I'm just nervous. It's like an anticipation anxiety. I had the same thing when the tours were happening, like 2 hours before the show would happen. It's kind of like you're sitting around and you kind of want time to go by quicker. And you're like, okay, I know a thing has to happen and I'm like building myself up for it. And I just wanted to I want it to happen. I wanted to get started and then I can like lean into it and have fun. So it's kind of like that anticipation of the documentary being coming out for so long and now it's finally here and I'm like, I want people to see it. But we're 25 minutes away. All I'd say is that if when you watch it, bring tissues with you. Is everything okay? Yeah, everything's great. Documentary's coming out. Finished Elden Ring. I even said in my head, I was like, I want to finish Elden Ring before the documentary comes out. And I played it for 6 days. And it took me a long time, but I finally got through it. The last boss is so hard. Do you agree with Charlie's Elden Ring review? Yep. Oh, I should have a Netflix show is what you mean. I don't even know what that would be about. I'll just tweet it, be like, I need a show on Netflix. Twitter, do your thing. Hey, what's up, Heath? Appreciate that, thank you. Oh, my ankle just cracked. Ever come to Scotland? Yep, I did a show there as well. The first time I ever went to Scotland was for the tour. It's actually the only time I've ever been there. It was really fucking cold the day we were there. But I got some great whiskey when I was in town. I had haggis for the first time. It was tasty. I went to the cemetery where J.K. Rowling took a lot of the Harry Potter names. So Tom Riddle is an actual person that's buried in Scotland. And we went to that cemetery, which is also in the documentary. You get to see it. That tombstone has an appearance in it. So if you're watching it, I wanted to give context to that, because if you're watching it and you're like, wait, Tom Riddle, isn't that a Harry Potter thing? It's literally where she got the idea. Or so I'm told. And that was cool to see. It was just really cool to travel the world. Not only to do something that was really fun to do, but it was such a privilege to be able to travel the world and see so many different places and do it in such a cool context. Music is a little bit too loud. I'll turn it down. I don't have headphones on, so I can't really gauge it. But thank you. Has Evelyn seen it? Yes. She saw it quite a while ago when it was ready. Because I've seen it so many times now, so many iterations of it as we were editing it down. So she's seen, I think she's seen it twice now. And she always says every time she watches it, she cries. I'm coming to the Netherlands soon. Not sure. I'm not really big into traveling, just traveling much again yet. Has Ray seen it? No. Will you go to Manchester? I did a show there. I had one of the roughest days of my life when I was in Manchester, because when I was there, I woke up that morning and a filling that I had. I had a big filling in one of my teeth back here. Take care of your teeth, please. Brush your teeth, floss, go to the dentist often, because you don't want to get massive fillings like I've had to. Because they'll only give you trouble the older you get. But I had a big filling here that had like a very tiny like sliver of tooth on the outside of it to try and retain as much of my tooth as I could. And then that morning I woke up in Manchester. I like felt with my tongue. I was like, something feels weird. And I felt with my tongue, and a piece of my tooth had just like slid off the filling. So my whole tooth was exposed, and I had to go to an emergency dentist in Manchester that morning and get it fixed. So many places were closed. The tour manager, JP, who you'll see in the documentary as well, he called somebody and was like, can we get Sean in to get his tooth fixed? He has to go on stage in like 6 hours. So I went there, and they gave me a temporary filling that I had to get changed when I got back. So I had this temporary filling on my tooth that was slowly like wearing away as I did the tour. And then when I came back from tour, I went through a dentist and got it completely fixed. But man, that Manchester time, it's unfortunate that that's the memory I have of Manchester. It was also, if any of you were at that show, that was an extremely windy day. There's like like a shutter door, like a one that you slide down, a big metal door. There was one of those on the venue, and it was blowing in the wind as the tour was happening, as the show was going on. You could hear it in the background as I was up on stage. God, that was a hard one. And London as well. I don't know what it is about the UK shows. London, if you were at that one, you'll know that the projector broke. Before the show was happening, we're like, okay, we don't know if the HDMI cable is actually going to work. Because there was video game sections in the show that people had to come up on stage and play. And as we were getting ready to go on stage, it was like, okay, the HDMI is not working. And Vernon did a pre-show bit with people to get the audience warmed up, so you weren't just waiting in your seats, which is, he brought somebody up to do Mario blind. So they would put a blindfold on, and then the audience had to tell you when to jump, which is a bit that they did at the Game Grumps live show, and we did at the Ready Player 3 show as well. So it was just a really fun like crowd warm up to get everybody like used to yelling and get you in the right vibe. Where was I going with this? What was I talking about? Oh, and the London show, yeah. The HDMI was like finicky for that. And then as the show was happening, I was like, okay, we just have to pray that when I say we're cutting to the game, that it's actually going to show up on screen. And then it didn't. And I was like, okay, fuck. This is like the worst thing that could have happened. So I had to like talk for a little bit. I had to like stall for time. I had to make jokes and improv on the spot. And I think it worked out really well. I think it was funny, and it made it a more unique show if you were at that one. It was kind of weirdly a bit more memorable, but I was like panicking up on stage. But I think it worked out in the end. Is that the guy from Free Guy? Hell yeah. Inventor of coffee, gold record holder, variety YouTube and streamer person, but also documentarian, filmmaker, and social media star, Jacksepticeye. You know it, baby. How many things can I add to my name? That's like my favorite type of joke to make. That's why it turned into the How Do We Get Here live show comedy world tour. Because I just like extending a normal sentence out as long as I can. And now it's the Jacksepticeye How Do We Get Here live show comedy world tour documentary. Do you have 90 minutes to go over it? But I also had that same joke with the Coke Zero, same great Coke taste, with now with a hint of added vanilla and zero sugar. That's why those jokes exist, because I just can't help myself. It's like the Jacksepticeye top of the morning, midnight oil, dark roast blend beans. Just say top of the morning coffee, but it's so much more fun. I remember chanting PMA at the London show every time the projector fucked up. Yeah. That was really sweet though. It really kind of like got me back on my feet. Because it's one thing to have something mess up as you're there, but you've spent all day traveling. It doesn't really show it in the documentary because, again, it wasn't part of the story we were trying to tell. But if you want to know what it was like to be on tour, the bus had a bunch of beds on it. I think there was 9 beds. Sometimes the buses were bigger and they had more beds. So everybody on tour slept on the bus. You would do the show, go back to the bus, wind down for the night, and then get everything in order. And then the bus would take off and start traveling to the next destination. And then you went to bed on the bus as it was moving. So you would go to bed and just wake up in a different city. And when we were in Europe, we would just wake up in a different country. Wake up in completely different states when we were in America. The very, very final shot of the documentary is me going into the bed that you can see. So it was like you would go to sleep in Sweden and wake up in Norway kind of thing. Or go to sleep in Paris and wake up in Germany. And it was really bizarre, and it was so weird to get used to sleeping on a bus, because I'm not good at sleeping on moving vehicles, but because I got to lie down in this like little coffin bed, it was kind of nice to be like rocked by the bus and have some noise going in the background. I got used to it after a while, but I had one night where I had the most awful dream that I was being crushed. That I thought the bunk bed, because it's like bed, bed, bed. There's 3 beds on top of one another. So you got to like pick your bed as you got in, and I always got like, I started off on a top bunk and I was like, okay, I hate that. The fear of actually falling out of this bed in the middle of the night is terrifying me. So I started sleeping on the bottom bunks, but you're closer to the road, so you feel more of the bumps. So it's like, no matter where you sleep, there's always something about it. And I had this horrible dream one night on the bottom bunk that I was being crushed, and then I started pushing the bed up, and the mattresses moved, so I was actually like lifting the whole mattress above me, pushing them into the next bunk. Oh, it was so weird. And that's the only time I've had like a night terror. I don't know what country I was traveling from or what state I was traveling from, so I blame that. 14 minutes until the premiere. If you haven't got your tickets, now is the time to do it. You can still buy your ticket as the documentary is happening. You have up to 3 hours after the premiere, so up until like 10 p.m. GMT to still watch it. If you buy a ticket. Please come to Norway one day. I was there. I've been to Norway twice. Beautiful country. Some of the nicest nature I've ever seen. Claustrophobia? Oh yeah. That was when I found out that I was claustrophobic. Actually, I found out I was claustrophobic on Scare PewDiePie Season 2, but that'll never release, so you'll never get to see. Nightmares are the worst. They can be. Sometimes nightmares are kind of sick, though. It's like, my brain came up with that? That's so cool. When you're in it, it's horrible, but then I wake up and I'm like, damn, my brain came up with that monster? Sick. Things are going crazy in the chat. Yeah, they are. I'm trying to like catch up with stuff as much as I can. Can I speak Dutch? Very, very, very minimally, like 5 words. Bedankt. Dankjewel. You ever been to Montana? I don't think I was in Montana. There's some states that are like, they're not very big touring states. They're not very big like places to visit for the sake of doing a show. We tried to get to as many places as we could, but we also have to like map out geographically how we get across the country kind of thing. Have you seen the Cuphead show? Not yet. Papier here. I heard that so much in the Efteling. I have pictures of that. It's so fun. Okay, we got 12 minutes until the Jacksepticeye How to Get Here live show Comedy World Tour documentary premieres for the very first time. I'm only going to be here for like 10 more minutes before I have to get ready, and I want to be in chat and I want to see people as they're reacting to it when it's on. I'm so fucking nervous right now. Ugh. Come to Chicago? I did a practice show in Chicago. I can't remember why we didn't go back there for a full show. I spoiled the whole documentary. Nah, there's plenty. Those bus stories aren't in the documentary either, so I'm just giving you extra tidbits so you know where my head was at during it. Oh, like my heart's legit like pumping really hard. Ugh. You need to visit Brighton. Maybe one day. Yeah, I'll go to Brighton. Yeah, I went to Wisconsin. I had cheese there and the best pretzel of my entire life. Love from Ireland. Love right back. Ireland gets an extra special little shout out in this documentary. My homeland. It'll be great, don't worry. It's not that I'm worried people won't like it. I know they will. It's just that like we need to like take the plunge sort of thing. It's like gearing up for it. It's like nothing else you can do right now except wait, you know what I mean? It's also interesting to see when we did the tour which countries and which places yell the most. Americans, you guys absolutely yell the most for live shows. I think live show culture is just so heavily ingrained in you that it's like a society who just wants to yell at something finally has a thing to yell at. But I just think so many like concerts and tours and everything go through American states that you guys are just really hype crowds, and it made it so fun to do jokes. Going to Europe, Europeans are a bit more reserved. Some places are a bit more like boisterous, but like a Paris and a German crowd were very much like, yay, but they're very respectful. They don't want to like get in the way, and they don't want to upset anything, and they don't want to like take away from anything. They don't want to like ruin your flow or get in the way. They're just very polite. And then other places are just yelling at you non-stop. Boston were yelling at me constantly when I was there. But it's just a really great, like, I got like a litmus test for every place I was at. You know how you want to like get a taste of the culture of the place you're in? And as doing a tour there, it was fantastic to just see the different types of cultures that were going around. It was all positive at the end of the day. No places were bad. No places were like mean or anything, and no places were ungrateful. It's just everywhere was completely different. What is your shirt from? It's the Cloak Elden Ring collection. America being louder? Shocker. I know. It was also interesting because we did like a Q&A for the VIP thing before each show, and it was interesting to see the types of questions different people asked. The Swedish crowd were a lot more like, I don't want to say you were a lot sadder, but you had a lot more like I'm going through a tough time sort of questions and reactions. And I was just like, Sweden, are you okay? Like more so than any other place. Everyone was just so sweet there, and they were just so like run down on themselves, and they just wanted like a helping hand. And I'm like, Sweden, are you okay? And then other places were like, what's your favorite cheese? Okay, 8 minutes. Y'all ready? We're so sad. Maybe, I mean, you do have a very harsh climate. It's cold and snowy and dark a lot of the times of the year. Seasonal depression is absolutely a thing. So maybe that plays a factor. No, we're not. Okay. Okay. I don't know if it's a cultural thing or not, but it was just fascinating to see as I was going through. 8 minutes till what? Till the first premiere of the Jacksepticeye How Did We Get Here live show Comedy World Tour documentary. Do you have 90 minutes to watch it? I'm so excited. I can't wait for people's reactions. I can't wait to... Please live tweet it as well. Use the hashtag HDGWH. How did we get here? You can just copy it from my tweet earlier. Please live tweet it as you're going through it. And if you're in the actual stream, like, post and chat as much as you want. I'm so curious to see people's reactions to this. It's been such a long time coming that I'm fascinated to see what people think of it. And let me know on Twitter afterwards. I'll be going through that hashtag later as well. I'm dying to know what people think about the show. I'm going to be a mess while this is playing. I'm going to be an emotional wreck. Am I going to be okay? I don't know. Yes, I mean, of course. It's all good at the end of the day. It's all fun. It's just there's been a lot of like emotional build-up leading to this moment, so it's not often that I release like big things like this. It's not often that I've had something kind of in the works for such a long time. And something that's like a legitimate movie. It's not just a behind the scenes of the tour. It's not just, hey, here's tour. It's a much better documentary than I think a lot of people are expecting it to be. So that's why I'm nervous for it. I need to get ready. Good luck. Yeah, if you do have tickets to it, feel free to go. Get ready now. Get all set up for it. I'm going to be popping off here in a little minute, but thank you guys so much. This is my last plea that if you want to watch it, if you want to be part of it, click the link in the description to go get yourself a ticket for it. There's 4 different time zones that you can get a ticket for. You don't have to go anywhere. It's all online. You'll be able to watch it up to 3 hours after that premiere starts, so you don't have to make it exactly at the time that it goes live. Getting a ticket enables you to watch it within that entire period. So if you are curious about it at all, go get yourself a ticket. It would mean the world to me. Please let me know what you think about it. I'm super excited for everybody to finally watch it. It's happening in like 4 minutes. So I'm gonna go now. And I'm going to leave you guys in the capable hands of 4 years ago Jacksepticeye, 28-year-old Jacksepticeye. He's going to lead you down the How Did We Get Here path. And I guess that's it. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. It's finally happening. I can't believe it. Have fun. If you bought a ticket, just have fun with it. It'll be a good time. Just hang out with everybody and chat. Be a loving community as you always have been, as you'll see in the documentary as well. I'm so excited for it. Thank you guys so much. Love you all. I appreciate you guys supporting the things that I do and being part of this and being in the documentary and coming out to the shows and the tour. It really means a lot to me. So I'm gonna leave it here. I'm gonna go like this. Boom, he's gone. Where did he go? Somewhere. All right, bye guys. I'm so nervous. Oh God.